much exist because of books. Not in the corny way like we're all part of some grand human story, but my Texan mother met an Irishman during a year abroad studying creative writing. And after a somewhat whirlwind transatlantic romance, brought him back to Houston, where they started a life, where they raised my brother and I. And whenever I would hear a version of this story, it always seemed like there was a disconnect. Like it was something that happened to a person named Melanie, who had nothing to do with the person I knew as mom, who was a lovely suburban mom in so many ways, but not surprising, somewhat a fixed entity in my life. Until about a decade ago, near the end of high school for me, when she changed career paths and mom started writing romance full-time. This was somewhat surprising to anyone who knew Melanie or mom. It was somewhat of a square. She went to UC Santa Cruz of all places, but swears she was the one who would always pass the joint at the party. And I believe her. I've only seen my mom inebriated once in my life, and to this day, I have to be cautious when bringing up the 40th birthday party margarita incident. So how could it be that this woman is now writing lurid contemporary romance? I was happy for her though, rediscovering her passion for books and for love. But I didn't think much in detail about what this work entailed until I opened her laptop one day to find some document, started mindlessly scrolling through the file that was open. I was like, oh. It wasn't until I got to the line, "Her wide nipples got aroused," that I realized what I was reading. It was then that I promised myself that I would never read my mother's novels. Not out of the fear that they wouldn't be well written, maybe out of the fear they'd be a little too well written. The only thing worse as a teenager than your mother knowing that you get turned on is the possibility that your mother might turn you on. I'm in law school right now. I can't afford therapy, and so we're gonna say, "Love you and me, Berkeley bourgeoisie." So this was somewhat of a sort of private tension until I was 18, and a friend for the first time made fun of my mom for writing erotica. And I got angry at this now former friend, but I didn't come to her defense. And I think then a part of me still believed that there was something about this genre written predominantly by women and for women that wasn't respectable literature. And so, to my embarrassment, it wasn't until sometime after college that I first tentatively recommended my own mother's book to a colleague who expressed interest in romance. And as I braced for some awkwardness or derision, I was pleasantly surprised to be greeted with nothing but enthusiasm. And so I started doing this more often, and I learned that indeed the predominant response was, "Wow, that is so cool." And, aside from the fortune I am securing for myself through her success, I do believe it is cool. It's cool to follow your passion at any point in life. One of the unfortunate side effects of being in law school is I think I'll have to be a lawyer someday. And so it's nice to see an example of an off-ramp. It's also cool to see my mom grow in this new trajectory. The romance community, for all that's wonderful about it, can be somewhat insular and retrograde in certain ways. And I've been proud to see her on the right side of pushing to diversify the genre, to bring in new perspectives and new stories. So, of course, I will take advantage of the opportunity to end this story with a plug. My mom writes under the name Melanie Green. That's Green with an E at the end. Her latest book is called Latte for Layla, It takes place in a California surf town. It's her 13th book since beginning this career. And it's her first one dedicated to me. We'll see. Maybe it'll be the first one I read as well. Thank you.